Hello, everybody, and good day. I want to see, in the past, we talk a lot about, what I call take home. Take home means the space, the outer space and the inner space. Mostly, I compare, or I kind of go back and forth between the outer space and the inner space. Outer space, quantum physics, particles, but the inner space is quantum consciousness. So outer space about determinism, about classical physics, material, scarcity, separation, all these crazy things going on in the material world. But the inner space is about that peace, that connection, that calmness, that inner observation. And but now I want to see, can we really change by install what we called the new OS, that is new operation system, reprogramming through what? Through general Kung Fu I talk about. And of course, continuously, I will talk more about it. So from that linear thinking, from that reductionism, from that determinism, from that visible world, from that separation, from that differentiation, from that material affection, that beliefs, that filter glasses we have been wearing for thousands of years, with the conflicts, with the war, with the diseased states of the mind, of the body, seek for happiness outside, seek for material outside, seek for joy outside, seek for pleasure outside, seek for excitement outside. Even seek for enlightenment outside. And when we look into inner space, nothing we should look for. There's nothing to look for. Nothing you can get from outside. The inner space, there's no locality, there's no scarcity, there's no fear, there's no separation, there's no fragmentation, there's no need to get something we don't have. We have abundance. We have infinite. In the old world, today still running the old world, the last breath. The breath is we get a control here. We get a bomb there. We're going to manipulate there. We're going to empower this country. We're going to shift this mechanism. We're going to change so-called other people's system. And we ourselves were so busy to explore the outside world, to search, to be in that predatory mind, the body of the mind. And we use money, we use resource, human resource, material resource, and then we call financial resource as wealth. The real wealth is infinite. The real wealth is in the connected consciousness energy frequency. When that frequency is lined up, in alignment with what? With the cosmic energy frequency, in the inner space, there's no travel, there's no distance, there's no past, future. It's everything is now. So when we see that inner space, we begin to see, we begin to realize, we begin to awaken. What a stupid thing we're doing. We use so-called money, so-called property, so-called material, so-called currency, so-called whatever forms of financial thing as a tool, as a weapon, as token, from token to weapon. Nice. What a stupid thing. We're against ourselves. We kill ourselves. So the inner space is everything is one without the other. So we bomb that person, we bomb ourselves. We kill that person, we kill ourselves. Because everything we do is the karma of humanity in collection. There's no other or me or the other. Because inner space, we're one. So on that basis, and I said clearly, we need to leave that old OS alone. Cut old OS, cut old illusions, cut old belief system of that scarcity, that material, that grab for all, power for all, status for all to me, that self, that egocentric self. And then we begin to see we are all one world of being. One breath, one word, one humanity. That's all it is. So when we see that, really see that, not just talk about it, really see that with the inner observation, beyond that space-time, beyond that so-called secret society, secret organization, secret nationality, secret, institution, or race, or religion, but all we are the same from within. Cut that illusion with a diamond cutter. And then see the real conscious being, to see the fundamental DNA of humanity, the fundamental DNA of the universe, the fundamental DNA of the cosmos, the fundamental DNA of our system, the solar system alone. And our body, the 50 trillion cells, all that 8 billion human beings, the same within. So, and I talk about the general Kung Fu. I talk about inner space. I talk about LQC. I talk about new operation system. I talk about reprogramming. I talk about daily awareness. I talk about observation. I talk about great pause. I talk about then take on a talk about deep exploration of that infinite, vast void full of potentiality. That void is full. That void gives rise to all that is in manifestation. So when I talk about that, let's put them together into what we can be wear at the moment. That KF, GKF, that is General Kung Fu reprogramming from the old OS to new. So in order to change the mind, or in order to change the body from the diseased chaotic frequency, separation, to a new frequency of flow, we must use Kung Fu. The Kung Fu is completely continuous, without a stop, constant, perpetual learning, self-observation, self-learning, self-discovery, without a stop. Always aware. At any moment, from morning to the night, 24 hours a day. Anything we do, anything we see, anything we think, anything we react, anything we respond, anything we talk to, any exchanges in conversation, in words, emotions, in contacts, we are aware. And that's when we really begin to do that general Kung Fu reprogramming. When we do a research, we instead of go with old formulas, we dive into the new. When we draw a picture, or when we draw a painting, when we do a piece of music, we forget about old, begin to see something new emerge. When we every day we brush the teeth. Before we brush teeth, a lot of us begin to look the cell phone, look the email. Let's change. Let's not to look the email. Let's not to look the cell phone. Let's not to answer anything. But just sit, breathe, open up your scalp, your shoulders, your spinal cord, your hips, and your knees and your feet, all the way to your Yongquan acupoint at the bottom of your feet. Now take a deep breath. Put your tongue to the up hard palate. Breathe in. Hold it. Out. In. Hold it. Out. In. Hold it. Sometimes just breathe a few times. Just breathe in. That's a 3. Pause 1, and then breathe out. That's another 3. It's a very slow 3, longer than 1 second, or about 2 seconds each. Just calm down. If you can not do that long, too shorter, just 2-3 seconds, or even less than 3 seconds. Just start somewhere. Just calm down. Calm down is not just say it, but doing it. Feel it. Open it. So that openness and give that transparency. Give that a coherent energy frequency. So we talk today, the topic is what? It's daily installation of the handbook of the new OS. That's the topic today. That's what I'm talking about. That is the handbook from the morning. Not affirmation, but just relaxation. Not the interaction, but in observation. Not to read the news or encounter with the media, but inner feeling. Not reach out to these crazy signals, but within. To have that vertical instead of flat, linear. Not to focus a concentration, but pay attention to all that is the holistic, holographic whole of your being and connected with all that is in oneness. When that happens, worries is gone. When that happens, anxiety is gone. When that happens, you are a whole. An integrated whole without separation, without fragmentation, without fear, without that loneliness in a big crowd. So that morning, can you do that? Before brush teeth, before comb hair, before take a shower, just do that. And we have the routines every day, do the same thing. Let's change a little bit routine. That change changes everything. Instead of eat a big breakfast, let's do something smoothie. Let's do something new. Some fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, fresh nuts. Something put into a new cup with a new fresh food. Without stuff ourselves with all kinds of meat, with all kinds of things. Of course you can do that. But if you want to change it. To reduce that inflammation, reduce the mind stuffiness, the brain stuffiness, reduce the guts corruptive, corrosion. Let's see if we can change that. Of course, during the day, always something coming back. What are coming back? The old system always want to reinstall. That's what? That's called a virus. New thing will come back. That is the error message. The error message is not you, it's the error message come back. Get rid of the error message. It's not something you have done wrong, but the error message, but just not a push away, but put the new system in. Take a deep breath. Empty the mind. Instead of use the old antenna, old telescope to look outward, but open up inner antenna, the super sense antenna, the super consciousness antenna, to look within. You see that infinite humanity, human infinite self connected with all that is. When everybody see that, the frequency becomes different. I change, the universe changed. I change, the humanity changed. I change that. It's not arrogance. It's in the connection. That is just true phenomena in quantum consciousness. We have already have plenty of evidence to test, to experience, to witness. Not with our eyes, but with our mathematical, scientific experiment. The quantum entanglement is true. Even Albert Einstein did not believe that. God doesn't through dies. It has nothing to do with the human God or specific image of God. This is cosmos. In China we call 老天爷. That means the grandfather of God. The same thing, just different expression. What I call conscious cosmos. I am the cosmos. I am the humanity because I'm part of the matrix of the conscious cosmos of that universe. What I call matrix, the conscious matrix of the cosmos, inner and outer, macro and micro. They're no longer just the particles we see, the atoms see in the space, the vortex, space expression, sort of like give that a shape of geometric shape. That's a particle shape. And a lot of plenty of particles become what? Molecules become what? Cells. Billions of billions. Trillions becomes whole body, organism. That's how it works. It's all started with what? The inner space, the tiny inner space. Trillions of inner space. So when the inner space changes, everything changes. When the conscious course of consciousness changes, everything changes. When the mind direction changes, everything changes. Just like Schrodinger said, it's one mind, the universe. Just like John Wheeler says, there's one electron in the universe. It's one consciousness. Even Max Planck, the quantum physics, father of quantum physics, sees the same thing. I say sees, why? Because he's still there. It's alive. The Max Planck as an entity, as a physical, is transformed. But his mind is still there within each one of us because we're all one. So over here, every day in the old OS, always coming back because the arrows, the virus, just like you have flu every year comes back, but just the arrows. Let it go. We as a human being get stronger. We observe, meditate, see, explore the inner space, and we see that's not necessary to have that flu. It's not necessary to have that old OS. It's not necessary to have that old arrow come back when we install new. And when we install new antenna, we perceive anew, we conceive anew, we receive anew. Everything is new. We live a new life afresh instead of live the dead life like zombie. So every minute, every work we do, every action we take, every person we encounter, family, husband, wife, colleagues, you name it. Any figures, see as your own expression. Get back to the inner space. Let the Kung Fu reprogramming start again. The new antenna established again. Every day, even all the way to the evenings, instead of watch TV, watch this, watch that, get into the inner space to see the holistic whole of the universe, of yourself. Let that self go, because the self is too small, because you are much bigger than a tiny thing compared to the tiny solar system. And from that outer space, you're nothing. But from inner space, you are infinite. From that infinite self to the infinite whole. And you see the great void, full of intelligence. All is abundance. So the token of money is no longer important. The token of resource is not that important. But the inner space is the currency for all that is. The power of all that is. So let the known depart. Open up the unknown. That exploration of the unknown, its beauty is that infinite potentiality continues to explore, continues to learn. We can talk more and more in the future. But today, I want to see just here enough. So think about it. Think about it. Morning breathing, afternoon breathing, lunch breathing. Before you sleep, just take a deep breath. Feel that empty space. And your dream of nightmare is gone. And you open up beautiful inner space, a beautiful dimension of freedom in that unconscious life at night. And when you wake up to the day again, next morning, you feel fresh. Isn't that wonderful? Let's just up to here to install our new OS. And each one, you can do it. And when you do it, everybody's doing it. And then everybody become coherent. And everybody together vibrate a new frequency. The universe is changing. Thank you. Let's dive into the inner space. Bye-bye. We see you next time.